Guys, can one of you send the link on the WhatsApp chat? Somehow I'm not getting it on my phone again, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's not syncing properly. So please send it to the rest of the team on the WhatsApp chat. So again, we're gonna have to ignore the first 6 minutes of this slide. I don't know. It's beyond me. Most I could suggest now is for you all to just go on my YouTube channel and just wait for when the live hits, because I know some of you all wait for me to send the link so that you click, but I don't know what's going on. All right, if after 7 minutes we just go with the number of students we have. So I see Alice. Alicia, that would be Alicia Mongo, right? Okay, good. Thanks, Alice. All right, so let's get moving. So, gals and guys, we are going to do conflict management today. Interesting topic, huh? So, before we get started, I invite from all of you to give me some examples of first of all, yeah, tell me what you think conflict is, and give me one example of what you think conflict is. Let's go. Conflict. You hear the word conflict all the time? Right. So thanks, Alison. Thanks, Alison. Right. Good. Thanks, Alison. Faria is saying disagreement. Kavita P is saying misunderstanding amongst your peers. Right. Anybody else want to make a statement? Precious. An unpleasant interaction based on disagreement. Okay. Anybody else before I answer these? I'm always happy to have my students interacting through the chat. I know we can't talk, but at least through the chat, we can have some activity going on. Samantha C. Issues amongst workers. Samantha C. What issues? It is a very vague response. If you write that for your exam, I will be forced to not issue any marks at all because what issues? For real, strife, strife, strife. What do you mean by strife? Kavita R. Aggressive disagreement in opinions. Aggressive, you say? All right. Anybody else? I'll just give one more minute for suggestions to come in. And I ain't seen any examples though. Nobody giving examples. Give me some examples. I'll give 2 more minutes. Give me two. I'll give you 2 more minutes for those who want to give what their idea is of conflict and some examples. I know this example is going to be entertaining. Chelsea, opposing opinions between individuals. Okay. No examples? Guys, gals, come on. Jahil, where you at? Korea, couples decide what to eat for lunch. Uh, all right. Yeah, yeah, yes. Well, by all means. Um, uh, Leandra, disagreement on which, like I spell out employees, disagreement on which employees have certain duties. Disagreement amongst whom? Disagreement amongst whom, Leandra? Samantha C. Clash of personalities. All right. Okay. Well, so that's all of those things are in line. So let me answer each one. Faria said disagreement. Yes, a conflict is based on disagreement at the most fundamental level. It's a disagreement. Jahil, inability of persons to compromise. I'll get to that, Jahil. Kavita P has said that it's a misunderstanding amongst your peers. A misunderstanding a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding mean that you may have interpreted something um, differently than what was intended. So I'm not sure if that can classify as a conflict. Well, actually, it can. It can. But that's something that can be easily resolved by asking and or getting clarification. So yes, misunderstandings can be conflicts as well. Okay, I'll take that. Um, Samantha, see issues amongst Lucas. Samantha, see you didn't tell me what issues clash of personalities. Okay, so yes, personalities are sources and examples of conflicts. Yes, I will accept that it is a type of conflict. Faria, strife. Faria was this disagreement and strife. Strife. Yes, strife is problem. Yes. Chelsea, opposing individuals between opinions. Yes, certainly. Opposing opinions on between individuals, and I would like to now say conflict is not limited to individuals alone, but yes. Faria is strive to decide what to eat for lunch, Faria, between you and your significant other. Yes, something as simple as deciding what to eat for lunch might be is a conflict, can cause real conflict. Leandra, disagreement on employees having certain duties. Now, Leandra, who is having this disagreement? Um, yes, that is one, but remember that conflict cannot exist amongst your employee peers. That conflict may exist between employee and their supervisor, or a supervisor of this department and a supervisor of another department. So that disagreement really not supposed to be between employees, because as an employee, let's just say you are employed already. I come into the department, but I'm doing all the way in the same engineering department. You are doing different roles than I do. Maybe I was hired for different role, but within the same organization. So you might think I supposed to be doing what you're doing and helping you out. However, I may have been hired for something else. So that's where you have to be able to clear, right? Samantha, see clash of personalities, right? I think yes, right, yeah. Um, Jahil, inability of persons to compromise. So you're now going towards a particular solution for conflict, and compromising is one of the solutions. It may not be always be the best solution. So the inability of persons to compromise, that in itself can be a conflict if you are now trying to compromise and you're expecting them to compromise equally, right? Alexis, dispute amongst people. Example, if blame needs to be put on a situation that went wrong with many people involved, then you need to get an answer. Alexis, that one actually entertaining. That one entertaining because if blame needs to be put, so you don't start off already there, right? You need someone to be held accountable on a situation that went wrong with many people involved. There may be conflict. So let's just say all of you went to the movies, but um, the the car was broken into when you all went and park. So it might be everybody want to blame the driver, but it could be the passengers was hustling the man just to park anywhere. It could be a whole host of things. It could be he was on a call and the person who on the call tell him to park there. All sorts of things. So I understand what you're saying, where there may be conflict in persons owning up, right, Alexis? Alexis, conflict in persons owning up to the problem. How come I only have 16 students? Where the rest of students? You all left me? Okay, thanks for that entertaining answer. All right, so let's get into it. We are doing conflict management this morning. So on slide number, you're you're cheeky with it too. You're telling me you're welcome for the entertainment. All right, okay. So I hope I answered all of you, and I have to clarify to all of you on your answers. Okay, right. So conflict. Gail, tell me you're welcome. Yes, right. Conflict management. So well, let's define in defining conflict on slide number 2, a battle, a contest of opposing forces existing between primitive desires. That can be one of primitive desire, moral, religious, or ethical ideas. Hmm. And we can think of immediately of religious conflict. We can think of um, we can think of Hi Alice, I saw your WhatsApp. I'll read it just now. Okay. Hi Alice. Um, so right, I was saying we all know of religious conflict. We all know of tribal conflict. And if anyone wants to throw out for me any any I any information you have on what you know of first-hand religious-based conflict, tribal-based conflict as well. Also, what else we had here? We had here moral conflict, ethical ideas, primitive desires. Okay, all right. But I know for sure we can look at religious and we can see tribal as well because they are clear world examples of this that has occurred and still occurring. If you want to throw it out to me there, that'd be great. Another one is the state of incompatibility of ideas between two or more parties of individuals. Now, this is a nice one, and this would be a really good. The second point, guys and gals, in slide number 2, an incompatibility of ideas between two or more parties or groups or individuals. So, to say someone used the word individual when you all were answering, it was someone said individual. Okay, Chelsea said individual. So yes, so that's why Chelsea has said it's not only individuals; it could be parties, it could be groups. All right. And I'm not seeing any examples coming up about when I asked about these conflicts, but I know there was this um, there are tribes in the eastern countries and perhaps in the western countries as well. We don't know. We can go back in history. Let's go back in history of our local history. We have the Caribs, Arawaks. Arabs and Arawaks. Those are primitive tribes, and they would have had conflicts because the Caribs were known to be a little more aggressive and physical, and the Arawaks were a little more docile. And there were always conflicts between land and territory. Just going back in history, I'm sure everyone did this. We know about this. We ought to know about it. So if anyone don't know, just hit me up in the chat so I don't know about this. Sorry, Chelsea, did I spell it incorrectly or? Right. Chelsea, I want to know if you put in my place there, if I don't put a capital C. Anyway, Teresa, religious conflict, all right, okay. Okay, great. Yes, Christians and Muslims. I think there's that. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I think that's what's happening in Israel, where we have the Palestine, which is Islamic base, and then we have the Jews, which is Israelis. There's also some religious conflict in India as well, in the state of Kashmir. You just type of Kashmir and you see Muslims want to control the state. The Hindus want to control the state. A big real fight. People die. They're also. What about some geographical conflict? What about some geographical conflict? So yes, Teresa, I think that is from a philosophical philosophical perspective, yes, I know, the different religions, they all China and US. How geographically? How, Teresa? Tell me.
Yeah.
It wasn't the answer I'm looking for, but you can go ahead and tell me and educate all of us. So it, it is Alexis. You wanna roll this morning? You wanna roll this morning, eh? With respect to Corona. Okay, well that's not okay. I'll accept your answer because it's not that's not geographical, but it's a philosophical perspective as to who is responsible for this coronavirus pandemic, right? So it's not geographical. When I say geographical, I was talking about maritime borders, land borders. Um, Chelsea, US, and Mexico. Well, there isn't much conflict there because I think they have their established borders. They are established borders. So it's not the conflict that you're talking about is perhaps persons trying to move through the borders legally or otherwise. So Vikash, Palestine and Israel. Yes, that's a geographical issue as well as a religious issue. India and China and yes, 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 India and China and the Himalayas. Also India and China and Indonesia, China and the Philippines. Um, there's also China and Taiwan, right? Those are geographical. Actually, no, that's not geographical. That's political. That's a political conflict, right? So there are many types of conflict. China and Taiwan. That's political, Vikash. I think that's political because Taiwan is still part of the mainland. They may want independence, but that's a political issue. So Alexis and your Earth is flat theory, lol. Right. Yes. So that also to that was and to build on Alexis suggestion here, Alexis's
Yeah.
suggestion. They're the anti-vaxxers. So I'll just throw this in there. Anti-vaxxers. I'll give it a Swiss expression. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone, but yeah, we are science-based people, and there's this now group of persons who seem to believe, yes, Kashmir. We spoke about Kashmir a few minutes ago. There are people who have this belief that vaccines are bad and vaccines can cause this and vaccines can cause that. And all I can say is if we deliberately or irresponsibly forget our history, then we are bound to repeat our mistakes. And I'm saying that because decades ago, maybe almost centuries ago, the world was plagued with viruses and infections that wiped out generations of people. The science community worked hard to create these vaccines that was now being able to prolong the life of children, of adults, and get them back to productivity. So if we think now that vaccines somehow have something bad, I'm not saying there isn't any possibility, but I'm saying our science, because we are science-based people, we ought to know better. So just run it in there with Alexis's Earth's theory, Earth's flat theory is in the same lines as anti-vaxxers, all right? So I'm just throwing that in there. Okay, so getting back in. Alexis, thanks for all this entertainment this morning. Yeah, you're doing well. All right. So conflict management is the practice of identifying and handling conflict in a sensible, fair, and
Yeah.
efficient manner. Very nice. You have a definition of what a conflict is, and you have a definition for what conflict management is. These are I will not ask these in an exam because this is too simple. It will be easy free marks. But this is something I want you to remember. What conflict is and how do you manage conflict is a practice of identifying the conflict and handling conflict in such a sensible, fair, and efficient manner. And just remind me again, Alexis, how would a manager handle Well, Alexis, this is what we're going to do now. You're jumping the gun. What's going on here? We're going to do conflict management. We are going to do conflict management. I hope you all have the slides in front of you so that as I go through, you go through as well. All right? Alexis, very eager this morning. Um, so remind me, since you're talking so much, remind me, Alexis, I'm going to put your name, Alexis. What does efficiency Alexis, you answer us since you're talking so much. What does efficiency mean? What's your understanding of efficiency? Alexis, you left us. Uh-huh. Maximum outcome, minimum effort. Hmm. You sound like an opportunist there. You sound like a real, you sound like a person who ready to just drain out everybody. But yes, essentially, it's the least amount of resources used to produce a large amount of results. All right? Essentially, it's that. Okay? So, okay, we can go with maximum outcome, minimum effort. We can go with it. We can go with it. All right. So let's go. Um, right. So conflict happens. It's a normal, inescapable part of life. It's a periodic occurrence in any relationship. And I'm reminding everyone sometimes the best of relationships will have conflict sometime, and you have to prepare for it. You have to try and resolve it to the best of your ability. Um, it's an opportunity to understand opposing preferences and values. How many of you here? How many of you here are willing to look at a conflict as an opportunity? How many of you here are willing to look at conflict as an opportunity to look at someone who's opposing your idea, to look at their perspective? How many of you are ready to do that? And that will speak to how willing you are to resolve the conflict. All right? So understand that it's an opportunity to understand opposing preferences and values. Antecedent conditions, things that can predetermine if conflicts are going to occur. Scarce resources. Your company has a budget. This department wants this amount, that department wants the other amount. Scarce resources, competing for resources. Conflicting goals in your organization. You have this department want to achieve this goal, another department want to achieve another goal. Still all within line, within the mission, but you have conflicting goals. Even amongst a simple everyday life, you might have a different goal to your brother, your sister right now. You might have a different goal to your parents. All right, so conflicting goals, styles, and this is like the styles of operating, styles of management. One department may have a manager with a particular style. Another department might have another manager with a different style. Personalities, we all mentioned all of these in our prior discussion. Your personality is a particular way, my personality is a different way. It's going to cause conflict. All right? Some people just simply don't interact too well because of their personalities. Values. Now, values is something where you where where people hold strong to. They hold strong to a particular type of value, and because of that, it's now going to be conflict with someone else who holds something else or probably don't have that value at all in their mind. All right, so values as well. Causes of conflicts, different conflicts of aims, different goals, conflicts of ideas, different interpretations, attitudes, different opinions, behavior, different behaviors are considered acceptable or not. So, how to create conflict? Now, as a manager, and from a management perspective, how do you create conflict and how can you be a source of conflict? We're on slide 6, guys. By not being a role model, by not showing your subordinates on how to go about doing things and being the person that you want them to be. By taking all of the credit for your achievements of your department without sharing the due recognition to all of your staff members. By being judgmental, by looking at someone and or a team or a group and being complete and giving judgment without using emotional intelligence, without being understanding to why they may have done what they did. So being judge and jury, as they say, being judge and jury and executioner, as a term you would hear people saying. Sending written messages. Now this might sound odd, but sir, how else do you want to send messages? Well, we are saying that at times you may not have to just always send written messages and always send emails. Perhaps a phone call can help. Perhaps a message, perhaps a conversation is going to help resolve a conflict because let's just say, for example, you have to send an email, but an email must always be copied to your supervisor or copied to someone else from your department. That in itself can add to the conflict. So sending written messages at all times can be a cause of conflict. Things that can get resolved with a conversation via phone or face to face. Saying that your subordinates must come to see me. You're taking it as I'm the big jefe. I'm the big boss. You gotta come to me. I'm not coming to you. That those types of approaches will cause conflict. People are going to feel as though you are unapproachable. And you must make yourself appear to the team as very approachable, as very understanding, because all of this is going to make your team comfortable. And when your team is comfortable, they may be happy. And when they're happy, what does a happy team do? Tell me in the chat as I continue. What does a happy team do? Make yourself inaccessible to your team. So you have a group of employees. You somehow you're not answering calls on time. You're not responding to emails on time. You hardly physically show up. You hardly there. That's making yourself inaccessible. You are going to get conflicts happening. An individual versus team approach. If you take an individual approach to things versus as a group, you're going to get conflict happening. By telling your staff what to do without consulting them or deciding with them, and I know we spoke about last week and in the review today as well, management by objectives. Deciding with your team what your goals are. Deciding with your team how we're going to go about achieving these goals. You as the manager, yes, you're going to be setting the baseline target to reach, and now allow your employees to do better. I ask, yes, a happy team is a productive team. Yes, Chelsea. Yes, Leandra. Thank you. Correct. Putting off things, being procrastinating. Come tomorrow. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Introducing change without consultation or discussion. Now, this is something big. You don't want to leave work one evening as an employee, and then you come to work the next morning and things are all over. There is a new procedure to get done, and you're all surprised by this. You are not going to now feel as though you are part of this team, you are part of this organization, because how could these things happen to you happen in your department. You just left yesterday evening and you're here this morning with a brand new procedure, with a brand new way of doing things, brand new layout without being consulted or discussed or informed. So those are things that as a manager you can cause conflict. All right. So remember those things. Poorly defined goals, divergent personal values, lack of cooperation and trust. The last thing you want, guys and gals and guys, the last thing you want is your team to not trust you. The last thing you want is your team to not be cooperative with you. Because if they are, then you're going to have real problems. On competition for scarce resources, we said that earlier, and unclear rules and lack of job description. And this would tie into what would unclear rules and lack of job description tie into? What department does lack of job roles, clarity of roles, I would say? Which department? Clarity of roles and job function. If this isn't clear, HR, yes, Teresa, yes, Kavita P, yes, Chelsea, HR. This is how important your HR department is, and and remember, the HR department may be hired, and you know, as the manager of that department, of another department that this employee is coming in, you also need to be very clear and very precise that in case it was missed in the interview, you need to be clear on what is expected of your role and your function. Remember that. You're not hiring someone based on a personality alone. You're hiring someone based on a skill. And you're not hiring someone based on skill and personality alone. You want to make sure that they know what is expected of them. They need to know what is expected of them early o'clock. All right? Effects of conflicts in organization. Stress. You would have heard it. I don't know if you would have heard the term, but there is a term called oh, the term just missed me. I think that's a senior moment I just had there. Um, but it's a term that's related to stress where the entire group or entire team is stressed or tense because of conflict, right? And when that entire team is stressed because of conflict, they are unable to function efficiently and effectively. Yes, they may be getting their things done, but they may not be doing it efficiently. And I can relate this to a government-based ministry. Don't think I'm coming down too hard on them, but I know because some of these employees within government agencies are union-based, and they may feel aggrieved with their salaries, etc. They engage in work to rule sometimes, or they engage in activities that would tend to put stress on the organization to produce the type of results that they need. All right, so stress, absenteeism. If you're seeing a lot of persons who are calling out sick regularly, although sick leave is enshrined in their rights, but they are doing it pretty regularly, you want to ask yourself why? Why are these persons, finding it? Well, I don't want not coming out to work, or you know, not coming out to work regularly. Staff turnover, people who are leaving your job, they come in, they stay there for a month, they stay there for 2 months, and then they're out. And sometimes they're out without even saying goodbye. You're not getting a chance to do an exit interview. Demotivation. The persons who are there and who feel as though they want to be part of this, they feel demotivated to achieve, they feel demotivated to produce results, they feel demotivated to be innovative. And then eventually, clear non productivity. So these are some effects on organizations of conflicts that you do not want, and these are something that you need to look at. As a manager, you want to look at using your metrics to look at your absenteeism, look at your staff turnover, look at your productivity levels, and then you might be attuned to some conflict that is existing that you need to address. All right. So we're gonna go for a break. Before we go for a break, any questions so far? When we come back, we're gonna complete conflict management for today. We just have about 10 slides to complete, and that's going to be it for the day. All right, so any questions, any queries before we go for break? Okay, good. Can someone commit now? I think it's, well, Alison did it last time. Can someone commit to looking out for the live feed at 11:15 and just send it on the group, because in case I am not getting it, please, someone, can I get a commitment from someone to do it? I know Alison did it last time. I don't know who is on the chat right now who can commit it, so I would know for sure. Anyone? Yes, Kavita, please. 11:15. Yeah. All right, so you'll do it, right? Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to take a break now and return at 11:15.